Marina Mabry lead the way, both scoring over 20 points in a victory over the Seattle Storm. The Chicago Sky, who dropped their last 4 games in a row, really needed this win. We're going to break it down, have some fun, talk about the game and more. All that right after this.
Welcome to Chicago Sky Central, and here's your host, Haize.
What's going on, Sky fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Sky Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Sky related. It's been a minute since we had one of these post-game shows. Excited to bring you guys this again tonight after this late game. Didn't tip off wasn't until 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But hey, the Chicago Sky take care of business. Now, this was not the best competition. The Seattle Storm were 4-18, 4-17 coming into this game. And this is a team that the Sky needed to beat up, right? You want to see the Sky beat up this team, take care of business, and then we can see what they do going forward. This could be maybe something kind of set them on the right path. It was good to see how they attacked the Seattle Storm in this game. More importantly than anything, forcing a bunch of turnovers. The Storm in this game having 19 turnovers in this game. Now, the Chicago Sky had 20 turnovers themselves, but they were able to turn the turnovers that they got into points more than the Seattle Storm was. It seemed like for a while there, the Sky were really in the Storm's head, right? Playing in those passing lanes, getting out there. But really, the story of this game, when you look at Elena Smith in this game, 3 blocks, 17 rebounds, ties for the most rebounds by a player so far in this WNBA season. She also chips in 2 assists, 4 steals in this game, did Elena Smith, and chipping in 9 points. Had a plus minus of plus 25, the highest on the team, even though she only scored that 9 points. And Elena Smith just continues to understand how to operate in space, how to be in the right and proper positions, how to get rebounds, block shots. It is what it is. Like, it was good to see the Sky win this game overall. Like I said, really needed a win like this. It's been a tough go for the Sky. But Kalia Copper in this game, tying her career high, 29 points, 8 of 17 from the field in this game, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 1 steal, but that 29 points, and then going only 2 of 6 from the 3-point line, but she got to the free throw line 11 times in this game. It seemed like every time she was penetrating, the Storm fouled her. And she knew it was after a while. She just knew every possession she's going to be able to draw a foul on somebody, and she make her play smart, get to the line, get those easy points. She ties her career high. Marina Mabry as well with 22 points, 8 of 17 from the field, 4 of 7 from 3-point range was she. Also chips in 6 assists, 5 rebounds. This was a really good game from the Sky overall with the way that the team executed. Like I said, I want to absolutely put it in perspective, just considering the fact that the Seattle Storm have only won 4 games on the season. But the Sky came in, they out-rebounded them by 20, right? That's how you want to see them take care of the ball. They had 17 assists on a total of 29 made baskets. That's a solid assist ratio there. Not assist to turnover. 20 turnovers definitely hurt as well. 10 steals by the Chicago Sky in this game as well. And 3 blocks, all coming from Elena Smith, also in this game. So, I like the way that the Sky executed. I like the defensive scheme and plan, which you could tell it was to attack the Seattle Storm, a young team that's figuring out how to win at the WNBA level. And the Storm have had quite a few games this season where they've been able to come back. They've taken leads down. They've let leads get back up. And that's really how this game went as well. The Chicago Sky won every quarter of this game, but the third quarter. They were outscored 22-16 in that third quarter, but they won every single quarter other than that. And this was the type of game that we needed to see. So, ultimately, looking at the Sky and just where we are at the season right now, we're a little over halfway through the season. 22 games played with 18 left to play. And, the Sky still are in position to make the playoffs. That's kind of what my video was on yesterday. They right now sit at the 8th seed. I think they still sit at that after this win. And they can still get into the playoffs, but they're going to have to dig in. That's just what it is. They're going to have to dig in, execute defensively, execute better offensively as well. The Sky have had some really bad fourth quarters in this recent stretch. Not tonight at all, though, but some really bad fourth quarters. I think in the last 8 games or something, they've been outscored. It's like 29-40 or something like that. They definitely need to tighten that up, which they did in this game. But we just got to see that continue. Got to see them continue to improve, beat the teams that they can beat on there, play tough against the teams. I'll tell you what, Ruthie, who's come back, she's got 14 minutes in this game, hasn't played amazingly great, but hasn't played horrible either in her minutes as she comes back from maternity leave. She's only averaging 1.7 points per game so far in her return. Nothing to sing home about, but it kind of is what it is there. Dana Evans got absolutely destroyed on a crossover today. I mean, listen, we're not going to even try to act like it was anything. Jordan Harston completely killed Dana Evans on a crossover to a layup. It was bad. It was bad. And Dana Evans, who's been solid defensively this whole season, like we cannot overlook that. Like she absolutely obliterated that woman, man. It was bad. It was bad. It was bad. Let's get into the comments and see how you guys are feeling. Eric in the building says it was good to see the team get this win. Absolutely, right? Because we need these wins. Like that's you don't want to take away from the fact that the Sky, we do need these wins. And it's been a tough go, and it's not going to get any easier on the Chicago Sky at all. It's just not. And the Sky are going to have to figure out their balance, especially offensively. There are some times where that your turn, my turn between Kalia Copper, Marina Mabry, and Courtney Williams does happen, and you can tell for a while they're still trying to fill each other out. It's a first year of a team. And then things changed drastically when you look at the fact that you had James Wade leave, and he was the guy that not only was coaching this team, he was the guy that put this team together. So when you lose the visionary of your team as well as the guy who was coaching it to bring it all together, it's tough, man. It's tough to overcome. And that's not me trying to shoot the Chicago Sky any bell, right? That's just honestly, like James Wade, whether you love him, hate him or love him, whatever it is, he was the engine behind that. He was the mastermind. He was the visionary. He was the one that thought that this roster could work. And now that they're gone, now that he's gone, I should say, it definitely it's felt. And I think the replacement coach so far has done a good job. The interim coach, I don't know if he's going to get the job full time. I really do hope that they separate the GM and the head coach role as well. But overall, it kind of comes with the territory. BL Jet says, Scott finally get a wire to wire. Yeah, we need it. We needed it. Eric says, supposedly James Wade might be talking to Jewel Lloyd to come over to Chicago when her contract is over. James Wade ain't got nothing to do with the Chicago Sky anymore. So, I mean, if he's going to be talking to Jewel Lloyd, cool, but he ain't got no decisions to make over here anymore. Eric also says, I was glad to see Dana Evans get some good steals. Yeah, but she got absolutely destroyed on that crossover. Steve-O says, made Dana do the blame it on the boogie. Hey, man, that was nasty. Just to see that crossover and how smooth it was, right? And it wasn't even anything too complicated. It's not like she did some super behind your back hezzy thing or anything like that. It was just a hezzy to crossover and to the rim. It was very simple, very simple. Very simple. But I mean, it is what it is. That comes with the territory, especially when you're an active defender. Dana Evans, who hasn't quite had the scoring impact that I thought she would have off the bench, especially when Rebecca Gardner went down. She's still been having a very impactful defensive season, but I just thought Dana Evans was going to have the green light to score a little bit more. I thought when you look at how she played overseas that she was going to be primed and ready to go. She goes 1-6 in this game, but averaging 8 points per game on the season. I kind of expected more towards 10, 11 points per game for Dana Evans this year, considering that she is being used, playing the most minutes of her career so far. But hey, that scoring hasn't come along for her quite yet in this season so far. Sorry, new owner. Oh, new owner. Dwayne Wade. That's who you're talking about. Well, hopefully Dwayne Wade is going to help recruit, right? The name, the cachet that his name brings, you cannot overlook. He's gonna people are gonna pay attention because it is Dwayne Wade, and Dwayne Wade is a Hall of Famer. Period. He's gonna be a Hall of Famer. That is what it is. So we'll see. But overall, I want to hear from you guys, man. How do you guys think? What do you guys think about the Skies' chances to still make the playoffs? I still feel pretty confident in it when you look at the teams below them. I think they're going to have a good enough record to sneak in at minimum at that 8 seed. But, you never know for sure. Elizabeth Williams as well in this game. I know she had foul trouble. I had 5 fouls in this game, but her presence, if you just watch how when she's on the court versus when she's off the court, how hesitant players are to try to get to the rim on the Chicago Sky, on top of her ability to rebound and things like that. But she's just such a smart defensive player and such just a presence that teams just really do try to avoid. And I think we saw that even with her ability, with her getting in foul trouble today. We saw that still 8 rebounds on the game, scored 4 points in that as well. But Elizabeth Williams just makes an impact for the Chicago Sky team. Courtney Williams, only 4 points in this game. She goes 2 of 9 from the field in 28 minutes. But, it is what it is there. The Sky led throughout the whole game, so I'm not going to beat her up too much on that one. Ruthie having her best game in her return so far as well. And Robin Parks, 12 minutes, but 5 points in those 12 minutes. And we needed those, especially with Elizabeth Williams being in foul trouble as well. Eric says, if they can stay at 8 seed, I think I don't want to be overly confident on it, right? Because it's not going to get any easier. Like our schedule, especially here in the next couple of weeks, is tough. So I'm not going to say it's going to be easy for the Sky, but I do think that they can hover around. We got the Aces next coming up on Tuesday. Excited to do a post-game show on that one. We got the Storm again next Friday, the Mercury on Sunday, and then we got 2 games against Dallas to start off August, then Minnesota, New York, Washington. It doesn't get easy. It just doesn't get easy from now to the end of the season. The Sky have a pretty tough record. We got what 2 games against the Aces left. We got I think 2 games against the Sparks as well left on that one. A couple of games against Minnesota left on that. 2 games against the Sun left on the schedule. So like it doesn't really get easier for the Chicago Sky. I don't think the rest of the season. So they gotta play hard. They gotta execute. I would like to see Teresa Witherspoon get the go ahead as head coach. Ooh, I wouldn't hate that, right? I wouldn't hate that at all. I think when you look at how she looks at the game, I think that could definitely help. They're gonna have to if they want to keep Kalia Copper. I'm sorry if that got in your guys' ear. Completely mess up my mic. But if the Chicago Sky want to retain Kalia Copper, they cannot punt. They have to make the right decision with GM, somebody who has a vision that's going to be able to sell Kalia Copper on that vision. They're going to have a coach that's able to kind of pick up the pieces with a team that's not having any younger players and assets coming in anytime soon with all the first round picks we gave up to bring in Marina Mabry. So pretty much primarily this roster, because I doubt that the Sky are going to be in a position to really recruit big-time free agents unless you just have players that want to play with Ka. But other than that, they're going to really have to dig in if they want to bring in free agents. So I'm not really looking at free agents to come in and save the Chicago Sky either. So it's going to have to all be internal for at least another couple of years. And so you're going to have to find a coach that can get the most out of this roster. And so, we'll see. We'll see, man. I hope that they can find it. I really hope that they can do it. Yeah, I want the best for the Sky, right? Like I love the Chicago Sky. And I watch the WNBA faithfully. I always have. And I'm not somebody who's a kind of a fair weather fan. And I know we're gonna have a lot of new eyes on the WNBA with the players that are set in the next couple of years, the collegiate players to come over. We're going to have a lot of new eyes on the WNBA. And so, with that said, you want to kind of make your move. You want to start making your statement. You want to have your culture built in. And so, we got a lot of things that we need to work on here in the Sky. It sucks that we lost James Wade. He gets an opportunity to coach at the NBA level, assistant coach, but we'll end up seeing, man. But to get back to this roster and get back to this game specifically with the Seattle Storm are such a young team. They're probably, if I'm not mistaken, they're the youngest, if not one of the youngest teams in the WNBA. But they're still well coached, right? It's a bunch of development. This season was always meant as a development season for the Seattle Storm, and 4 wins. They're 2-11 at home. The Sky needed to come in and win this one, but overall, I still look at the Storm and say, listen, they got a lot of nice pieces on this roster. Not none that I'm necessarily jealous of, but they still have a lot of nice pieces on this roster. But they couldn't stand the Sky today. Like, we got veterans on this team, and the way that the Sky came in and just took care of business and executed is what you need to do against a team that's a bottom feeder, and that's what the Seattle Storm are right now. Their team at the bottom. They're not a team that's looking to make any moves for the way up. They have the worst record in the WNBA overall, and so the Sky had to take care of business against this one. So, especially when you got the Aces coming up next, that's going to be, man, that game is going to be emotionally filled. The Sky already eliminated out of Commissioner's Cup contention. So the Sky, everything that the Sky have now can focus on the playoffs. That's it. And so, for better or worse, the fact that they have that ability now to focus on doing what they need to do to make the playoffs and hopefully making some noise in the playoffs, right? This was always going to be a tough season for the Sky. And while they started it off playing much better than I think a lot of people expected them to, um reality came hitting fast for this guy. And so, they've lost a lot of games. This is only their fourth win in like the last 12 to 14 games, something like that. So this guy got a lot of work to do, man. And I think that the players are up for it. I know that they have the mindset for it. And I know, listen, Kalia Copper is having one of the best seasons of her career. And it's more than just her having more opportunity because she's the de facto number one now. She's shooting it at a great percentage, taking more threes and hitting them at a higher percentage clip than what she's had ever in her season. She's grown, but we just need to see how this team's going to continue to fit together. Like, it's just little odds and ends that don't always fit with this team, and that really kind of gets them out their game sometimes. It didn't happen on this one, thank God. So it is what it is there. I just think with this, when it comes to the rest of the season for the Chicago Sky, it's going to have to be by the sum of the parts coming together to play well, right? They're going to have to be extremely well executed. They're going to have to limit turnovers, play better in the fourth quarter, and play together as a team. Like the offense sometimes when it stagnates for the Chicago Sky, you know what they're going to do. It's going to be Kalia Copper trying to drive to the middle, get a free throw, things like that. It's going to be Marina Mabry taking threes, or it's going to be Courtney Williams dribbling the hell out of the ball to try to make something happen. We don't always look as cohesive on the offensive side as I would like. Defensively, our defense is our bread and butter. Sometimes we have little issues on defensive side of the ball too. Not perfect in that area, but I really want to see this team just work on the engine that is the offense of this team. And a lot of that does come down to coaching. And I'm not throwing it all on the interim head coach, but the Bulls, the Sky have to, shoot the ball better. They have to, play as a team, but just take smarter shots, right? And I think the Sky are still going to make the playoffs. Still think we're going to get at least one playoff series for the Sky. And we'll see what happens with that, right? But you got the Aces coming up on Tuesday. You guys still make sure you're tuned in for that. We'll have a live post-game show after that as well. Hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed. We're still trying to build up the community here, so make sure if you guys are Sky fans, you hit that like button. But that's my time for today. Make sure you're following the show at Chicago Sky Pod. And wait, hold on. We got another one. Haize looked like he just knocked out Colin Cowherd in the 5th round. Listen. Hey, Calter can get this work, bro. If y'all didn't see me flame him over on Chicago Bears Central, y'all should go and watch that rant. I kind of went off on him a little bit, but thank you guys for tuning in, man. Make sure you guys follow the show at Chicago Sky Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, Chicago Sky Central at gmail.com. And then lastly, we'll leave a text message and our voicemail, 773-270-2799. Now, we do share that with Chicago Bulls Central. So if you hear that on the voicemail, don't be surprised. But that's my time for tonight, guys. I'll see you guys the next time we go to Skytown. Peace, y'all.